Hi YouTube and welcome back to Let's Play SimCity 4. It's been a little while since I have put an updated episode on here. As you may or may not recall, if you saw the last episode, I added several neighbors in the game so that I can do neighbor deals now with other regions. While SimCity 4 doesn't have multiplayer, you do have multi-region play where you have various cities that you manage and you can have neighbor deals and stuff like that. And so I kind of built two cities out that had absolutely no services, electricity or water or trash, so that I could get all three of those as neighbor deals from the two to start earning some revenue for the city, because I'm building the city a lot faster than probably is recommended, and so I'm spending a lot of money. Eventually, I think I've mentioned this before, that I will end up having to use some money cheats on the game, but in the meantime I am building out some of the things like the neighbor deals and such, so that in the future I don't always have to rely on the neighbor deals, but I want to be able to grow my city quickly. As you can see right here, I am increasing the density of my commercial zones right now. So I went from medium to high density commercial. That's one of the things I'm starting to do now. I think I started everything at medium density, housing, commercial, industrial, but now I'm starting to get into a mode where I want to start building the city out further and increasing the density of the city as well, because that way I can grow the city and start getting skyscrapers and that kind of thing. It's not quite big enough to get skyscrapers yet, but over time they will start emerging, and if you don't have high density in existence, they won't be built. And you can see I already have multi-story buildings coming in here as it is, and eventually they will become skyscrapers. And you just saw there, I just kind of built out a road and I kind of killed the electricity in this area, and I'm like, yeah, that's okay. I will fix that eventually. I'm actually trying to build out some things here first, and before I restore the electricity, I want to kind of add that in. One of the things I wanted to do here, as you can see, is I want to do a double lane road to increase the traffic capacity. And as you can see, as I'm trying to build this out, so the second road that I was trying to put in there, and they were yelling at me about the electricity crisis, but I'm like, screw you. I want to build my road first. And it built a nice little road with a tunnel, but the second road kind of got destroyed by that, and it won't let me build in the road at all anymore. And so in a moment here, you'll see me actually start working with the terrain tool a little bit to try and get the terrain to accept a double lane road. So here I'm just kind of erasing all that stuff. Well, not really erasing. I'm just using the terrain tool and it's kind of deleting things like the power lines and the roads and everything else. And I'm trying to see if I can't smooth this out a little bit so that I can put the roads in. And I'm like, okay, that's getting a little too steep again, so I need to raise it. And I never really enjoyed using the terrain tool on this game too much, because it seemed to always be a little bit picky. And, you know, you start messing with the terrain and all of a sudden things just didn't seem to always work right. So you kind of see that as I struggle with that a little bit. So I finished kind of doing the terrain tool. I'm like, okay, I got that lane, I got that road going in, and now this one won't go in. It gets kind of frustrating. I'm like, okay, come on, let me build a road, it should be fine. And nope, nothing, not a nix, nothing. So eventually I just kind of get rid of it, as you can see here, and I'm going to change my plans in terms of how I'm going to get people over to the industrial area. That one road over there is not enough. It's too long of a commute for people, and so I'm like, okay, can I do it this way? Or no, that was just to restore the power a little bit. or to eventually restore the power. But now I'm like, okay, well, what if I just put the road in over here? Can I do that? Okay, yes, I can do that. And then put in a double road here, ending just at the end of, I think that's a water treatment plant right there that I put in to, since it's the water from the sewer system by the industrial area is getting kind of polluted, so I put a water treatment plant in there to kind of keep that water somewhat clean, because I was getting kind of pollution warnings and such like that. And so there I've got my double road up to the industrial area over there now. And since this other road here is still kind of a major thoroughfare, I am putting commercial along the road itself, and then on the opposite sides of the new commercial zones, I'm going to go ahead and put in more housing. So slowly but surely kind of increasing the size of the city. I can probably see this city eventually taking over and developing across the entire rectangle of this region. So eventually it'll take over the entire region, because I just want a large metropolitan area. That's kind of the way I always like to play SimCity, is to have large cities. I know some people like building little small towns and villages, and everyone has their own kind of preference in terms of how they play SimCity. And I'm definitely one of those metropolitan megalopolis type SimCity builders. I'm really looking forward to the new SimCity that comes out next year. I've tried to get into the beta. I'm still not in the beta, which I'm really bummed about. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to record my gameplay if I had the beta, and I'm aware of that. But I would love to get my hands on it so that I could play with it ahead of time, so that I had some clue of what I was doing before recording my Let's Plays next year. However, I don't know, maybe it'll be fun for people to watch me stumble around in a brand new game, not knowing what I'm doing necessarily. So, I don't know, we'll see. I may or may not play a little bit offline before I go ahead and start doing Let's Plays once the game is out. But I am seriously looking forward to that game. But in the meantime, SimCity 4 is actually still a pretty fun game. You can still build really nice cities and things. Here I noticed that I'm missing some residential to road access. You can tell by those little zots that are appearing over there, and I'm like, okay, it's not letting me build out road access to those spots. So in the meantime, instead of putting housing there, I'm going to put some parks and things in there. Just so that, if I can't get road access, then that's a great place to put a park. And that increases the surrounding value of the property in the area. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, while I want a big city, I also want a very well-educated city. I'd like to get clean industry in here. That's definitely one of my goals. And there's, I think there probably is a cheat to do that, but I don't do those kind of cheats. The only cheat I ever use in the game is the money cheat, and that's it. So, I am going to keep trying to make the city obviously bigger, but I also want to make it cleaner and more highly educated. Eventually I'm going to switch from coal power to, I think it's a fusion power plant or nuclear power plant or whatever, to kind of get the cleaner energy going in the city and everything. Can't really get the really clean industry until you start switching to that kind of stuff. But first I need to make the city bigger and start collecting more taxes so that I can start growing my revenue. The cheats are just going to kind of help me get to that stage in the game. Here you can see now I'm also trying to build out the sewer infrastructure so that there is enough water being served for all of my residents and commercial, etc. And you can kind of see how large of a footprint the city now has from the kind of original little rectangle that used to be there. You can see the original rectangle a little bit when I have the sewer turned on. Can't see it as well in this view anymore. And that farm will probably eventually go away as well. I just kind of have it there for now, but eventually that's all going to get redeveloped into part of the city as well, especially if I start getting clean industry. Clean people don't mind living closer to clean industry as they do to the dirty ones, so I could maybe eventually replace that with clean industry if I start attracting that in the city. I definitely think I need to start passing some ordinances in the city where I can attract more clean industry to the city as well, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. But in the meantime, here you can see I'm increasing the density of the housing over here, and just kind of adding a little bit more residential to this area as well. Like I said, I do try to build my my cities pretty quickly. I don't like spending weeks or months trying to slowly develop a small town into a big city. I just kind of like getting it done in a few hours, even though it's, you know, it's been a while since I've actually played this game now. This footage I actually recorded, I think, back in November. But in the meantime, I thought I would go ahead and get this episode edited and launched for everyone to enjoy. That way, getting this up gives me an excuse to actually go play the game again and record a little bit more footage. I try not to record more than, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours worth of footage whenever I am playing. So that's, 1 to 2 hours worth of gameplay, and 1 hour is about 4 episodes, give or take. So yeah, I try not to overdo it, and considering how often I have time to play, which isn't very, I play, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours worth of games a week at tops, and that's just enough to satisfy all of my Let's Plays. And here you can see the city is celebrating its 1-year anniversary with fireworks. So, and it's all coming from the mayor's house, I think. So I thought I'd share the celebration. So the city is now finished its first year, and it's pretty good. Citizens now want another house of worship. Apparently they're very religious. It's just part of the game. I'm going to be interested to see how things like that will be handled in the new version of SimCity. See how much demand from citizens there are for things like that, or if as a mayor I have more control over that kind of thing. Because I know you can build casino cities in the new game. Here you can allow gambling, but you can't really build casinos, so, which is kind of a bummer. And I think, well, actually that's not true. I think actually you can build casinos. Eventually you can build, you have business deals, you can build certain businesses out. I think there was like a military base, there might have been a casino, I think there's a big penitentiary you can put into the game, etc. And you can end up getting business deals. So besides the neighbor deals, it's another way of earning income in the city. And whether or not I do those, haven't decided yet, just because of the fact that this particular city, I want it to be big, and those things take up a lot of room, and they also have a huge NIMBY effect. So you have to kind of keep your residents away from those areas, otherwise they won't want to live there. So haven't decided that yet, but also just got a city hall, so the city is finally large enough for a city hall. So I built that in there and put some commercial around it. I didn't think people would want to live right next to City Hall necessarily. Alright, so here, now that I've kind of added a whole lot of commercial and residential to the city, the next stage is to go ahead and start adding more industrial, because now that we have all these new citizens, they're going to need a place to work. So that obviously is, and here we go, I think, chaos of cars. And in this case, usually I get that warning and I look at it and I'm like, okay, there's like tons and tons of traffic, but I was looking here and it's like I don't see it. Maybe during the daytime, there's heavy traffic there. So I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to go ahead and switch out from streets to roads so that it can handle higher traffic in that area. There, and that should satisfy that for now, and build out our roads here for the industrial area so that people can kind of get to work. And just kind of building in some more industrial to fill in the gap there and make sure that all the streets and roads are connected together. I always like to zoom in and make sure that everything's connected properly, because sometimes I'll miss a gap here and there. Sometimes the terrain doesn't allow me to zone every single square in an area, but I think that's okay if I'm missing a square or two there. And I'm going to go ahead and build out some more industrial over in this section as well. Just making sure that everyone has enough places to go to work. I know I've said this before, but I still think it's weird that the commercial zones don't count as places to work in SimCity, because, you know, in many cases, in real life, you know, people work in retail. They don't just work in factories. So I'm wondering how that's going to change with the new version of SimCity 2. I'm hoping that they will count commercial as a place to work as well. Put this episode up right here. Thanks for joining me, and until next week, bye-bye.